Hello, and welcome to our auditioning for series presented by Shadow Shakespeare Project. Today we are auditioning for Coriolanus. Why does this slide deck look like cowboys? Well, great question. And the incredible answer is that we at Walking Shadow are producing Coriolanus with cowboys this spring. It's our one rehearsal show. So that's why we're going through these audition options. And if you find yourself auditioning for Coriolanus at any point, I hope that this deck comes in handy, that some of these suggestions are helpful to you. So we are going to start off by going through our list of characters. Now, there are 10 billion characters in Coriolanus. If you take a look at the dramatis personae, there are just a billion of them. There are 7 citizens, citizens 1 through 7, which is wild for Shakespeare. But then he also has like 4 serving men and 4 conspirators and 4 senators and messengers and patricians and plebeians. And there's so many characters in this play, but they really boil down to these named characters and then an ensemble. And a show like this, these Roman plays do not happen without that ensemble of plebeians at all. So I think that if you're looking at characters, and we'll bundle these in a minute, you really want to think about the ensemble type citizen roles that really speak to you. There are some that are more kind of angry mob plebeians. There are some that are more politically savvy, like the senators. There are some that are kind of some hype men. But we have, of course, Caius Marcius Coriolanus. We've got he will be referred to as Marcius in the script for the first, I think, 2 acts, and then maybe the first act. And then after he conquers the city of Corioli, wherever it is, he becomes Coriolanus. So that's his title for defeating that city against the Volsci. Then we've got Menenius, who is one of the Roman politicians. He is one of Coriolanus's friends. He has a lot of sway over the crowds. But then we've got Brutus and Sicinius, who are also they're not senators, but they are in the government. They're representatives for the plebeians in the government. So they have a lot to say, and they do not like Coriolanus at all, because Coriolanus does not like them. Coriolanus does not respect the common people, and Brutus and Sicinius come from the common people. So they are definitely opposed to Coriolanus. Then we've got Cominius and Lartius, and they are soldiers alongside Coriolanus. So they've got his back. We've got Volumnia, who is Coriolanus's mom, Virgilia, who is Coriolanus's wife, Valeria, who is their friend, and young Marcius, who is Coriolanus' son. And then, of course, we have the Roman plebeian senators, patricians, messengers, as I mentioned. Then we've got the Volscians. We've got Tullus Aufidius, and he is really the leader of the Volscians. He is Coriolanus's biggest enemy and also sometimes biggest hype man. And then we have the Volsci soldiers, serving men, conspirators, etc. So we've got obviously more Romans than Volscians, but the Volscians are very, very important for setting up the whole temperature of this play. So our character groups, I've put these into 3 little buckets because, it's hard to break these down, but I did the best I could. We've got our big emotion boys. These are the characters who have big feelings and make them heard. So this is obviously Coriolanus himself. We've got Aufidius, Virgilia, and then the citizens. Now, the emotions that they range are very different from one another. So you want to make sure that you are taking a look at the character you're specifically auditioning for, and what emotions run their house. So what are their most common emotions? Obviously, for Coriolanus, it is anger and disdain. For Aufidius, it's like lust, basically, fighting lust. And then Virgilia, it's fear and some despair. The citizens, it is a lot of anger and demanding. So then we have our pot stirrers, and these are our more politically savvy characters. So we have Menenius, Brutus, Cecilius. Even though those 3 characters are on different sides, Menenius against Brutus and Cecilius, in their affiliations with Coriolanus. We do see the way that they ramp up the crowds and kind of try to instigate some of the mob mentality reactions. We also have our conspirators and our senators in here who are laying the groundwork for the way that they want the citizens to react. Then we've got our hype guys. This is Cominius, Lartius, Volumnia, and our serving men. They are the ones that whoever they're hyping for, they are ready for battle. They are praising usually Coriolanus, but they are praising the fight. They are there's a sense of urgency to these hype guys that sets them apart from some of the other emotional swings of the characters. So we're going to start with our big emotion boys. We've got a couple different speeches for them. And this deck will be pasted in, like, linked in the comments, so you can see them a little bit more, read through them yourself. But I'm going to kind of go through the reason I picked each of these for some of the specific characters. So our big emotion boys, we've got, again, Coriolanus, Ophidius, Virgilia, the citizens. One piece that I think speaks to Coriolanus's anger quite well is King Lear's 1-1 speech, Hear Me, Recreant, on Thine Allegiance, Hear Me. He is big mad in this, and this is very performatively big mad, which I think Coriolanus leans into a lot because he is put on this public stage quite often. The Brutus and Cecilius are saying, hey, you've got to get the common people's vote if you want to be in charge. And he does not want to get that. So he is constantly, like, provoked in front of these people and pushed and pushed and pushed. And he just explodes on them. And this is, I think, the level of anger. Lear is a good level of anger to root Coriolanus in. Another one for Coriolanus, though, that might capture a little bit more of his hatred of humanity and people. And this is Timon from Timon of Athens, Act 3, Scene 6. This is when he is at a banquet and he has asked, basically, if you're unfamiliar with Timon, Timon is like the guy that everyone goes to for money and favors and all of that stuff. And finally, when he asks for something in return, everyone says no, and he freaks out about it. And he ends up going away, and you can look into that play. It's quite a bit. But yeah, he has lines like, henceforth be no feast whereat a villain's not a welcome guest. Burn house, sink Athens. Henceforth hated be of time and man and all humanity. He just goes off on these people. He is so angry. Courteous destroyers, affable wolves, you fools of fortune, trencher friends, times flies. Keeps going. And this is very much, this evokes for me You Common Cry of Curs. There's just, God, that's such a meaty speech for Coriolanus, and it really kind of, this time in speech, I think, captures his anger at the people and his disdain for them. And then kind of a curveball in here, you know, a lot of times you'll see for Shakespeare auditions, oh, you don't want to do, like, the popular monologues, you don't want to do Juliet, right? But first of all, I think if you do the speech well, do it. If you love it, do it. And this isn't really a speech that is done by people from Juliet. And this is Act 3, Scene 5. And it's when Lady Capulet is in there and saying, like, oh yeah, I hope that villain who killed your cousin Tybalt, I hope he dies. And Juliet threads this line of love and hatred the way that I think Ophidius specifically does, unlike many other characters. They're very, I have a hard time matching Ophidius with any other character in the canon. And if you have a character that you think Ophidius is like, I would love to hear about it, because I think this character is really beautifully written. And he is so, I mentioned it before, but he is so lustful. He is so desirous of meeting. I mean, he even says, like, when I saw my wife for the first time, I didn't feel as many things as I felt seeing Coriolanus. But there's this hatred because he can't beat him. And so this Juliet speech of, indeed, I never shall be satisfied with Romeo till I behold him dead. Is my poor heart for a kinsman vexed? If you could find out a man to bear a poison, I would temper it. That Romeo should, upon receipt thereof, soon sleep in quiet. Oh, how my heart abhors to hear him named and cannot come to him. oh, it's just so like it's so emotionally charged. And that line, because she's performing anger for her mother, but she's also feeling it. She's also feeling lust and love for Romeo. So I think that's kind of a cool, although quite out of left field, Ophidius pull. If you walk up to a Coriolanus audition and you say, hi, this is my name. You do your slate. I'm auditioning for the role of Tullus Ophidius. I will be performing Juliet from Romeo and Juliet. I think you might get some like raised eyebrows, but then if you bang this out in a really like Ophidius-ish way, Ophidiesque way, then I think that you could really do some good work here. And then the last one of my favorite speeches. I recommend this all the time for auditions because I think it's so powerful and it really like wakes an audition panel up. Is Marlus from Julius Caesar, Act 1, Scene 1. Wherefore rejoice, what conquest brings he home? What tributaries follow him to Rome? To grace and captive bonds his chariot wheels. You blocks, you stones, you worse than senseless things. Knew you not, Pompey? Rah! He gets so angry and so riled up. And this is like, there's so much of this happening in Coriolanus. And I actually think that this could, all of these speeches, there's a lot of crossover in Coriolanus. So I will say that I think you could adapt anyone on these 3 slides to be for the character of your choice. I think you could. Because you could really take this and you could make it a Brutus speech and really like ramp up the anger towards Coriolanus with this mirrored language. So I just think it's a good way to show a lot of control over a stage. These characters, Ophidius and Coriolanus especially, they have to command the entire room. They have to do the work to get the whole theater's attention. So if you want to prove you can do that, prove it. All right, we've got our pot stirrers next. And these are the, Menenius, Brutus, Cecilius. You've got your conspirators. You've got your folks who are trying to sway the tides of the common people. And I've got a couple different ways that some Shakespeare characters do that. I come at it from a couple different angles. So I've got to start Saturninus from Titus, Act 1, Scene 1. And this is when he is trying to get, like, this is a very straightforward, hey, listen to me. I'm the one you want to lead you, very directly. Friends that have been thus forward in my right, I thank you all and here dismiss you all. This is very kind of like Brutus Sicinius, as they represent the citizens in the government. Like, this is for them. Everything they do is for them. But then I have Henry IV in Richard II. Act 1, Scene 1. Again, we've got a lot of Act 1, Scene 1s because this is where a lot of the like crowd swaying happens in a Shakespeare play. A lot of times you're going to see, unless it's like a Julius Caesar and you're at the funeral scene or something, you're going to see right away the characters delivering information that are meant to inform the way the common folk, the audience, is supposed to feel about different characters. So that's why I kind of pulled from early in place for these. So Henry IV, this is when he is kind of petitioning Richard II to get his fight. Look, what I speak, my life shall prove it true, that Mowbray hath received 8,000 nobles in the name of lending for your highness soldiers, blah, 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 blah. This is very, whereas the Saturninus speech is very much like, thank you all so much for listening to me. Keep listening to me. This is why you should keep listening to me. This is very much, hey, it's not about me. It's about why this other guy sucks. And again, that happens a lot in Coriolanus. Hey, Coriolanus kind of sucks, guys. You should also hate him. And so this is this Henry IV speech really does that. It's like, this is why I hate everyone. To me, for justice and rough chastisement, by the glorious worth of my descent, this arm shall do it, or this life be spent. Let me fight him. Let me at him, And then I've got another kind of take, and this one is from Cymbeline. It's the First Gentleman. This is more of a straightforward report on paper. Okay, here's what happened. This is who this guy is. It's talking about Posthumus and his lineage. So I cannot delve him to the root. His father was called Cecilius, who did join his honor against the Romans with Cassibelan, blah, 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 blah. By her election may be truly read what kind of man he is. So this is presenting information in, again, on paper, very straightforward way. But here's where you can use your desired characterization to inject some life in it. A lot of times, like, we'll see these like lords and gentlemen characters deliver this information as if it were, hey, here's what happened last week on Cymbeline. This is what you missed. But really, in order to be fun and relatable to the audience, we want them to have a perspective. Does this guy hate Posthumus, or does he think Posthumus is the coolest guy in the world? The way he tells this story of his lineage lets the audience know, ooh, we should kind of hate Posthumus, or we should think Posthumus is really cool. It's all about injecting personality where it isn't written, that shows an audition panel that you can really do the work to create a character that is round and full of some juicy perspective. So using words that are more straightforward, I don't want to call them boring or bland, but they are devoid of clear perspective, and you get to add that perspective, and that is so fun. So some very different takes for these pot stirrer monologues, but a lot of fun to be had. And then finally, we've got the hype guys. These are some of my favorite characters. So this is Cominius and Lartius, but also Volumnia. Volumnia is she is cool as heck, y'all. I have, I think, quite obviously, a Margaret monologue for her because she is very battle hungry. She is where, and this is Coriolanus is a play very much about toxic masculinity and the way that pride and proximity to godhood can get in the way of level-headedness or politics or doing what's best for the people. And Volumnia is really driving his battle hungry spirit. She wants him to fight. And so we also, his soldiers want him to fight, and they know he's great and he's going to do it. And like I said before, the urgency is what drives these hype guys. They are all or nothing, now or never. So I have Philip the Bastard from King John, Act 4, Scene 3. And this one is, again, I have three different, very, very different takes on these hype guys. So this is go bear him in thine arms. I am amazed, methinks, and lose my way along the thorns and dangers of this world. How easy dost thou take all England up? We've got more of an analytical take, which when you're coming from some of the citizen soldier characters, you have them they are put in this position of not being able to fully sway the battle on their own and needing to rely on someone else. Now powers from home and discontents at home meet in one line, and vast confusion waits as doth a raven on a sick fallen beast. What, like, there is an anticipation in this speech that I think is really special for these hype guys, as they are, because they are not leaders. They can't do it on their own. They have to rely on someone else. And this desperation, this anticipation in this Philip monologue, I think is a really cool side of those hype guys to show. And then we've got Pandarus from Troilus and Cressida. Oh, again, a completely different direction for this. This is where we are straight up. Coriolanus is the bomb. We love him. He's so cool. Coriolanus can do anything. I would do anything for him. And this is kind of intercut from Act 1, Scene 2. Mark him, note him. Oh, brave Troilus, look well upon him, niece. Look how his sword is bloodied and his helm more hacked than Hector's. And this is a lot of maybe it's Volumnia's like kind of goading of Virgilia to be more into her husband's battles, but maybe it's just one of these soldiers who is so excited to see Coriolanus in war and so excited to, like, oh my gosh, you audience member, audition panel, you have no idea what you're talking about if you don't think that Coriolanus is the coolest guy in the whole world. And this is a piece that, like, when we have these Roman plays, it's kind of hard sometimes to inject some humor into them because they can be very political, very dry. Not dry, they're very emotional, but like they're very heavy. So some lightness and some fun, if that's the kind of character you want to bring, this might be a fun one to show that. And then we have Margaret from Henry VI, Part 3, Act 5, Scene 4. And this is, great lords, wise men ne'er sit and wail their loss, but cheerly seek how to redress their harms. Hey, fight for it, is exactly what she's saying here. Hey, sorry that you don't like talking to the common people, Coriolanus, but you have to. Good fighters don't just sit there and whine about it. Get up, go on, do the fight. Um, she's so cool. Margaret and Volumnia is scary. They're both scary. But they're such powerful characters. And I want to reinforce that, like, probably should have said this at the beginning. You should choose a monologue not based on gender or gender presentation. You should choose a monologue that speaks to you. There's no reason why people of all genders can't do this Margaret speech. You really, like, if you identify with these words and this power and this characterization, do it. Embrace those words, embody them. And that goes, I think we say it a lot for male presenting characters or characters with male pronouns in Shakespeare, that we encourage non-binary and female actors to take those lines and make them their own. But I don't think we do it a lot in the other sense of looking at male presenting actors or male identifying actors and saying, like, hey, bang on these speeches written for women, because there is so much power there. Shakespeare did a pretty great job of writing for women, for the most part. And I think that you should feel empowered to do the speeches that stick with you rather than just giving yourself a limited amount of options. So that has been auditioning for Coriolanus. I hope that this has been helpful for you. If you have a Coriolanus audition coming up, if you're auditioning for our production, feel free to reach out, info@walkingshadowshakespeare.com, or hit us up at WS Shakes on Instagram, or I think that's our YouTube thing as well. Hit us up. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know if, like, none of these really speak to you and you're kind of looking for something else, or if there's a specific character you're going for and that you're really excited about. I'm always happy to help. I hope this was of use to you. And yeah, break legs in your audition. Knock them dead.